Hello viewers, my name is Adam.
And I'm Aaron.
This is Seeking Me Productions. For you, another movie review.
I have been looking forward to this since Netflix decided to let us see that first teaser way back when. And we knew there was something special when we actually got to see it. And why wouldn't we? Because I feel as though one of the greatest directors of our time was in charge of his direction. And I'm talking about Frankenstein.
Yes, Guillermo del Toro's one of many passion projects that he has wanted to always direct.
Some might say probably the passion project that he could have ever, helmed.
Guillermo del Toro, whose whole filmography is nothing filled with passion, particularly within the genre space of science fiction, fantasy, and horror. He really knows how to really craft very elegant stories through atmospheric visuals. But is a director who is, we're ashamed to say that we haven't really discussed that much on this channel.
And we've seen so much of his work. The Shape of Water, his
Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh my God, Pan's
Hellboy.
Yes. Yes. So it's really interesting that this would probably be the film that we honestly get to take apart and actually talk to you all about. Yeah. Frankenstein is just one of those stories that has permeated the very roots of horror in general and literature. This is the story that deals with the concepts of what happens when man plays God and the consequences of bringing new life into a world that is both unforgiving and honestly not ready for its existence.
And it was such a pleasure to see this vision of Frankenstein on the big screen, no matter how limited time screen that was warranted.
I feel as though if you did not go out there to the theaters to watch this gem, you have done yourself a disservice, because this movie demanded you to see it in the big screen.
So hopefully for more theatrical warranted original movies that Netflix produces, they treat them a lot better than what they did this one.
So let's go deep into what Guillermo del Toro presented to us with this particular story.
So Frankenstein, it's a story that is not no stranger to the film industry.
Exactly. There's been multiple adaptations that deals with Mary Shelley's work. But I feel as though with this particular entry, I feel as though this particular one has really brought forth the real elements behind what made that story tick.
Yes, and let's just say, with the legacy of Frankenstein's adaptations made famous from Universal's pictures, with Boris Karloff as the creature, and that one took really strong liberties with the source material,
yes,
but was still able to make a very iconic figure nonetheless. And even then, when a later adaptation back in the 1990s, when they were trying to do somewhat more faithful, but yet still had liberties taken, with when Robert De Niro played the creature and Kevin Brosnan as Victor Frankenstein. But even then, it felt flat in its execution, mainly because of it felt like it was forced in many ways.
But this one, especially with the cast that is actually bringing the story to life, I feel is just more earnest and more is lively. It's very is energetic. It's everything that you would have possibly wanted out of a story. I feel so. There's only one other adaptation of Mary Shelley's work that is somewhat comparable to what the presentation that we got in this one, but that's a little bit further down. When we look at this particular one, this creature being played by Jacob Elordi, I'm familiar with his work. I've seen him in Euphoria, and before that I think it was with The Kissing Booth, and of course Saltburn. I feel as though he showcased himself as a very
versatile
actor, but I feel as though with this particular role, playing the creature, his acting chops was on full display. I feel as though he completely embodied what I wanted to see out of an individual, bringing to life a creature that is truly something that is new to the world, but also tragically thrown against the rings. This is the first time, other than maybe one other adaptation, where I feel truly that this isn't just some type of help, mashed together corpse that's just brought back to life. No, he truly made me feel as though this creature is new, is fresh. It is a absolutely a new creature that is brought forth into this cruel world by hands that honestly did not know what the heck they had on for everyone else to see.
Yes, and more on that when we discuss the characters. More on this version of the story. I would say that what Guillermo del Toro does is that structurally, it does follow like the outline of the book, while still taking even more stronger liberties. But I feel as though the liberties that he takes is more beneficial to the themes that was addressed not only in the novel, but also what Guillermo del Toro is trying to convey. Again, like similar to what the book starts off and ends, we see that Victor Frankenstein's in pursuit of the creature, and the story once he's rescued, during that pursuit, he begins telling his story.
And it's a story of hubris. It's an individual who felt, who has, comes from these higher beginnings, but is also, weighed down by the over demandingness of his own father and his upbringing, and in his attempt to try and improve his worth, prove what he's actually able to bring about, especially with the deaths of a loved one, and his attempt to try and fight back on the forces of nature that has taken him, that loved one away from him, and also just to also prove his own brilliance, takes it upon himself to actually fight, go against the values of nature to actually create new life himself.
Yes, but like most all adaptations, Frankenstein, that bringing forth a new life in himself that's unaware of his surroundings and is questioning what his creator has brought forth to his life. Is very much a tragedy down the line. If they were to retitle this, it would have been The Tragedy of Frankenstein, because even more further into very horrific consequences that follows based off of what Victor has brought forth.
There's so many things that go wrong because of that. This is definitely a story that isn't just about man playing God, but it's also about the dangers of when parents don't foster love and attention to their own offspring.
Some of the plot elements that in the story are very strong thematically, especially when he deals with the hubris of what Victor Frankenstein does. There's one lingering plot thread that was addressed in the book that was also like possibly hinting at towards that was in this adaptation, but it never really got anywhere. It deals with the bride situation. It's addressed, but sometimes a lot of some of the elements that were addressed in the book are not necessarily played out as well as you would have thought, especially how near the end, how this Frankenstein decided to go about.
Exactly, and I feel as though and even though this adaptation doesn't go in that direction with that particular plot point, I feel as though the reasoning behind it, as far as the way this story is being told, makes sense. This is very much a story that is supposed to be centering on the thoughts, feelings behind the two main characters, i.e. Frankenstein and the creature. And we're looking at it through the lens of the creature. We're looking at an individual who's living through a tragedy, that's living through multiple experiences that reverberates on the concept of them always being alone.
Characters, like we said, the two main characters in this are Victor Frankenstein and the creature. Victor Frankenstein is being portrayed, the adult version, as Oscar Isaac.
I absolutely love this actor. I love almost everything he's usually in, and him playing Victor Frankenstein is definitely no exception. I feel as though he brings such a viral hubris and at the same time swagger to the role of Frankenstein.
There was an eccentric quality to his performance, and that brings a lot more lively attitude to in this very moody Victorian style affair. One gripe I will say about Oscar Isaac is in his casting. It is a little bit distracting when you start telling his younger self being played by, still brilliantly done by Christian Convery, who you people might know from Sweet Tooth. It's just very distracting to the point that no way in heck that you should have gotten.
That individual grew up to be the Frankenstein that goes into there. It didn't really affect me as much, but at the same time, I truly understand where those points come to play.
Two good performances playing two different eras of the same character. But because of the very fact there is an ethnic background, a visual ethnic background between the two actors, I don't see it happening. The character, his hubris and his audacity of it is on full display here.
Yeah, they do not pull punches. Where other adaptations want you to feel sympathy and connectedness for both Victor and the creature, this one is this variation of the story is very much full of telling you where the lines has been crossed, and how you and what is that doesn't really tell you how you should feel about it, but it definitely doesn't pull punches. It literally puts it out there for you to for the audience to be able to express, okay, so this is what you're doing, and this is where and this is how things landed because of the choices you made.
And bringing back to Jacob Elordi's creature, his if you know about the book of Frankenstein, you'll know that Frankenstein is and portrayal of the book is very much different
to the universal variation.
He's more well spoken. Once he's started living life by himself. Same thing in the book, and many another adaptation that actually did this just as well.
Which is the one I was pointing to was Penny Dreadful. The series that was on Showtime, that variation of the creature and the story that was telling Frankenstein, I feel as though was also incredibly brilliant, and I feel as though Jacob Elordi's portrayal of the creature versus that variation, though, they're synced.
There's a very somber, hidden ferocity that is, that is an understandable rage.
Yes.
That it festers with Frankenstein. Once we start seeing things through his perspective, and it clearly is.
Well, the creature.
The creature. The creature is very much on display. As it really turns once it gets to this story, it really does. It makes already a wonderful film even better. The actress Mia Goth.
Yes. Again, a wonderful actress. Love almost all the things that she's in. If you are a fan of the X series, definitely that when she comes to play, she plays hard. Yeah,
she plays the character of Lady Elizabeth Harlander. She in this version, because in this character's role is very different it's very different depending on what adaptation you go. Sometimes she's the fiance of Victor Frankenstein. Sometimes she's the cousin. In the book, she was, I think, kind of both. but this version, she has no relation to Frankenstein.
Aside from being engaged to his brother.
A character who's also in the book, thankfully. And what's different is that she brings a lot. She elevates more the empathy that you'll see from the Frankenstein's creature,
and elevate and also juxtapose on Frankenstein himself. And really, she is pretty much the mirror that we set against Frankenstein in this film that really showcases where he has gone wrong in so many different ways.
And it's not like she's like the very focal character on that perspective, because there's many different characters who challenges Frankenstein motives. A supporting character that really drives much of Frankenstein's action is actually the kid who plays her uncle. This character is Heinrich Harlander, portrayed by the nicely great Christoph Waltz.
Oh my god, he's such a gem, and he's definitely delicious when he's playing in this particular film. But then again, it's not like a role where he completely blows everybody out of the water. It's very much his same acting shots that he does in almost everything he does, but he does it to such a extent, extent that it harmonizes with everything that we're being presented.
He's one of the characters. I think he's more original to this film in terms of story, and he's very much an element that's different that Guillermo crafts narratively because of plot twists that may assert that we're not going to discuss that much, but it very much goes. It adds to the themes of Hubert's on his own reasonings of why he's helping Frankenstein go into his pursuit. It's very rare where there's an ensemble cast that plays their roles really well.
Exactly. I feel as though there were really no wasted roles in this film, and that is a huge bonus whenever you get to see that executed excellently as it was done here.
When we really believed that Netflix should have gave this film a much better chance in theaters.
What's that production? Let's go talk about that. This movie is gorgeous from start to finish, and I wanted to live in this world, if not at least visit it. I'm sorry. From the way that the creature is designed and actually looks, the way that the creature was actually brought to life, the sets design, the castle, the tower for which Frankenstein done his works in, the style of dressing, almost everything that Victor wore in this film. I need to have that in my closet.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro, who's very much known for having as much practicality on his set, he really do know how to direct his cinematographers in a way that really do highlight the work that they put on forth.
It felt like you were literally watching a book come to life.
It oozes atmosphere.
It does. And there's some of the smaller details that just was like chef's kiss. The little flicker of energy that pulses within the creature themselves, within their eye. If you see it, the little faint orange, yellowish glow. Whenever the creature gets angry and unleashes their full fury, from the sound effects, from his roars. Oh my God!
And what was good about the production on the props and is how well it is used on the narrative front. Something that this adaptation of Frankenstein is more its own spin on things is the mere fact of how they integrated the scientific method and how the creature is being developed.
Yes, the reason for why this creature was actually able to be brought to life, including the reason for why Frankenstein ultimately will always feel alone, is that element of their creation and how well they execute it. The way that the creature regenerates from its own destructive ends and the machinations that everybody else puts around them is incredible to see.
Yes, it's very much. I was really surprised at the level of somewhat harder science and actual in-depth science is actually put onto it, because a lot of times with adaptation,
they skip over that concept.
Well, the book it just skips it entirely.
Exactly.
A lot of others they just do based on the basic electricity route. This one they will do a lot more putting thought into the biology,
the nervous system, and not even just concepts that are of westernized ideology of medicine, but also Eastern concepts as well. They blend seamlessly together.
And let's talk about the score from Alexander Desplat.
Beautiful.
Very what you expect from a very haunting Victorian-esque era, but there's a kinetic whimsicalness that also brings that complements the wonder and beauty that when we're going through the creature's perspective.
Yes, the score behind when the creature is being developed and created to their journey, and both the creature and Victor's journey, the subtle sweetness and melancholy that comes from each individual person's plight in the story is something that I feel as though the score highlights incredibly.
Yes. So overall, what do we feel about Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein? I am really glad to say this is a very amazing film.
It is. I honestly, this is probably one of my favorite films that we saw this year, and I am really looking forward to be able to see it again. I might even want to own this one.
If Netflix makes a physical copy.
Please do. But that's our review for Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment below. What is your favorite Guillermo del Toro film? How you feel about Frankenstein? Did you watch this? Got the chance to watch this in theaters?
And do we honestly? I'm on this point right now. I feel as though y'all just need to go ahead and give Guillermo del Toro all the Universal monsters.
All the Universal monsters, but also talk about Passion Project.
Exactly.
It's about time to see
this
version.
Yes, let's get the Mountains of Madness for real. This man has been out here, going to each and every last studio out there to try and give him this. Give it to him. Let him. I want to see it.
Yeah. And also follow us on our other social media outlets of Instagram, Threads, and Letterboxd for other movies and discussions that we don't have time to discuss on this channel.
But I'm Aaron.
I'm Adam.
And this has been Seek Media Productions.
See you.